Hey everybody, if you like taking old computers apart, if you want to learn how to take computers apart, if you just want to see what's inside old computers, stick around because that's what I do. This is Shark Scrapper, so come on, let's dive in. Oh, it's a Compaq, that's why. All right, so this older style computer, you've got 1, 2, 3 screws to take this shell off. So let's go ahead and get at you, and these are good old standard Phillips screws. All right, that happens with the older ones. Those screws get rusted and don't want to play. That's all right. A 1/4-inch socket fixes that. Now I'm going to hang on to these because I probably want to put that shell back on. I have a little magnet over here in the corner that I can use to catch the screws. This is the power supply. All right. There's our shell. We've got the power supply, we've got the drives. Here's the hard drive. CD, you can see the CD-ROM there, a floppy drive there. Now, what's interesting about this style of computer is the motherboard is mounted to this plate. And we should be able to take out 1, 2 screws, and that plate should come down and give us access to the motherboard. Let's see. All right, maybe 3 screws. There we go. We just hung up a little bit. Okay, so now we get the ribbon wires loose. And there you can see we have a real nice motherboard. That's going to be a large socket, and I'm thinking that's probably a ceramic underneath of there. Let's find out. There's a little RAM stick, probably a 256 or something like that. It's old, so I'm not worried about whatever it is. Oh, a 64 whole megabytes. All right, now you press down on this and give it a little twist. It comes off, and we do have a ceramic with a metal cap, aluminum heatsink. And my aluminum heatsink bin is so full they're falling out, so that's going to have to go to the non-ferrous yard tomorrow. Let's see, what are we talking about? Large socket motherboard, AMD. So a real nice AMD ceramic with a metal cap. Large socket motherboard, get the battery off of here. Put that in with the place of batteries. And then we have some Phillips heads to get the motherboard off of here. Now you can see this is a nice large socket. A US quarter fits in there very easily. For those of you that want to depopulate, you've got gold cornered BGAs, you've got yellow tantalums, you've got flat packs and ICs scattered all about. You've got gold jumpers, you've got oscillators. So there is some depopulation if that's what you have to do or you choose to do. I choose to sell these to boardsort.com as large socket motherboards. And you can see that my arrangement is working out pretty good here. Labeled large socket motherboard goes in there. So I've got I'm tuning up my bins. Every time I open something a little different, I get to make some adjustments in how I lay out the bins and stuff. So we're settling in on a pretty good functional arrangement here for how to organize where things go. And that makes it much easier for me to know that, hey, I've got enough of something to put a box together for board sort. All right, let's get back over to the workstation and get back to work on that computer. So with this just sheet steel here. And we can get the wire disconnected from everything. For those of you that are new to my channel, my yard allows me to put ribbon wire in with my number 2 insulated copper wire, and I don't have to take the connector ends off. And I get paid more than even with this ribbon wire that would have gold connector ends here that I could sell to board sort. My local yard is paying me enough, so much in fact, for insulated copper wire that it's not worth me taking the time to cut that stuff off for board sort. Alrighty then. We got the power supply loose, so we just slide that out. Get that out of the way. And here is a gold finger card. I know we've lost orientation on this thing now, but there's the screw for it there. Also called a slot card, PCI slot card. Board sort category is gold finger card. And in order to get the most value for this, I'm going to take off this bracket. Now we have a clean gold finger card, no heat sinks, no fans, no bracket. All right, now we've still got the hard drive here and we've got the CD to get. The hard drive is on a caddy that's sitting down on the top here. Slide you back there. 4 screws holding the hard drive to the caddy. This is going to be a high-grade HDD board because it has pins and not SATA. So hard drive HDD board. Now I just have the hard drive with no board. That's interesting. There's some nice little connector there. I'm not going to mess with taking this apart, but if you're a hobbyist and you have the time and you want to, go ahead and play around with getting at the aluminum, and because especially these older styles, these can be kind of interesting. I mean, look at that. That looks like that's a big chunk of aluminum, cast aluminum right there. So that could be a fun one for a hobbyist to mess around with. For me, it just goes in with the hard drives, no boards, and then this will go to board sort as a high-grade HDD board. Okay, so CD-ROM. Oops. Get that off of there. That's not going to do us any good. The Torx when we're going after Phillips. Just slide that out. Little tiny Phillips heads there. These older CDs can actually be more valuable for in the shred market because we'll see here, I hope. Hopefully it's not going to make a liar out of me. Yay! You see the board is the whole size of the CD. Some of the newer CD-ROMs, the board is, this little tiny one thing over here. But with these older ones, the board can take up the entire CD. But you want to look because there's some little tiny screws here that need to come out. Sometimes those screws are on the board, in the middle of the board, hiding from you. So there's a nice CD-ROM board that'll go in with the CD-ROM boards for sale to board sort. And then we have 1, 2, 3 motors that you can go after. I usually don't. I will for this video. Normally when I'm just cranking through these things, I don't mess with the motors on the CD-ROMs. That just goes into the shred pile for me. But here you have a little copper bearing motor. There you go. And then this one, which spins the disc. Just pull off that ribbon wire. Don't worry about the metal plate, that's fine. There you have another little copper bearing motor. And then this one has keeper screws on the other side of the plastic. Now to get at, get all the screws out of the way. To get at that, we just have to pop this part up. And so the motor is there. The tray is in the way. Now in this particular model, what we're going to have to do is get that metal piece removed. The industry very quickly went to plastic, and that metal piece would not have been there even in another generation or so of this type of CD-ROM. But this is an older one, so it's still there. Come on. There's the 2 keeper screws there and there for that motor. So we take off that drive belt. And I'm not going to mess with it any further because even my little bit is too big for those tiny little keeper screws, and I don't feel like digging out another tiny little screwdriver, so this is just going into the shred the way it is. So I don't take my power supplies apart anymore. I used to do that when I was a hobbyist. For me, the best return on investment is to just cut off the wire and then sell that as a power supply with no wire. If you want to see the math behind that return on investment, well, here's the link to take you to that video right now. And if you don't want to see that one, that's okay, because there's another link that will take you to more of my e-waste scrapping. So, you all have a great day. Oh, and if you haven't already subscribed, that's the little round icon in the middle. All right, everybody, we'll see you on the next one.